Hi there, I'm Sheetal and welcome back to my channel. We're all going through very difficult times right now, and us parents, especially, have a Herculean task in front of us trying to figure out what is right for our children and what is not. That's not an easy task to do, even otherwise. But these days, with the COVID 19 situation that's happening around us, it is even more imperative that we have the right information, that we take informed decisions based on that right information. So today in our segment, we have with us Dr. Prashant Kumar S. from Cloud9. He is a neonatologist and a pediatrician and has been my children's pediatrician for a really long time now. He's an excellent doctor and somebody who I've found always explains things to me in the best possible way in most layman terms. Let's welcome Dr. Prashant here. Hello, Dr. Prashant. Thank you so much for joining us today in this episode.
Good morning. I am Dr. Prashant. I work as a pediatrician at Cloud9 Hospital. The outset, I would like to thank Ms. Sheetal for having me on this question answer session on the current hot topic COVID. So, especially to discuss on the kids, how does exactly it behaves with the kids and all. So, let me see how well I can do justice for this.
So, let's start with the first question. Doctor, on the one hand, we keep hearing that COVID 19 is not at all dangerous for children, that kids are the ones who get away scot free, that it comes very mildly for them and then just goes. But on the other hand, we also hear about stories where kids are affected very badly and even die for that matter. What exactly is the truth? Is it something very dangerous for children?
We don't know the truth. That is the truth about the corona for kids. Because it's certainly a new viral epidemic, we really don't know how it affects each one of us, and we don't know the natural cause, we don't know the outcomes and all those things. So far there hasn't been a lot of you can say like large population of kids that are affected because of COVID. So that doesn't mean it's not going to affect kids. It is going to affect because it's a virus. It doesn't discriminate anyone. So it's going to affect across all the age groups. By rule of thumb, certain population we call it as high risk population. For example, newborns, kids, pregnant ladies, or older people, or someone who is on a supportive measurement, something like someone who is hypertensive, diabetic, or on a kidney dialysis issues and all these things, someone on chemotherapy. All the time we call such people as high risk population, in the sense they are slightly more prone for them compared to the healthy population for catching new infections or ending up having severe complications with these things. So applying the same rule to this relatively unknown epidemic we have now, I would put it as it can be as dangerous as to any other people, to the kids as well. So I would say kids, we put it on a higher priority. Because basically they don't be, slightly less on the immune side because they have never been exposed to all these things in their life. So I would put it as it can be a little more dangerous to the kids, rather than telling that it is okay for kids to have corona because it's not going to affect the corona at a lesser thing. So I don't believe in that. So prioritize your kids, prioritize elder at home. Make sure you take care of kids. So you cannot take corona lightly as far as kids are concerned.
What is the risk element for children below 2 years?
Yes, newborns are at risk. Less than 2 years, definitely. When we see for even the simple flu also, we always say less than 5-year kids are the one who are at a slightly higher risk compared to the older kids. So we always prioritize babies less than 2 years, less than 5 years, because they are slightly new to the community. All the community spread diseases are not, these kids are not necessarily exposed to all these things. So when we don't get exposed, the chances of we having immunity against this are really, really low. So always babies less than 2 years are definitely at a higher risk. So currently so many guidelines, whether you go through ICMR guidelines or the government guidelines, health and family ministry welfare guidelines, whichever guidelines you go, they say kids, the older people more than 60-70 years, people are on life supports, something like dialysis, diabetic, heart diseases, they're all definitely at higher risk. So I would put it newborns, kids less than 2 years, overall the pediatric age group population is definitely at a high risk. So always prioritize newborn babies at the higher level.
Doctor, how can we keep our younger children safe? most of the directives that have come out, like washing your hands with soap very frequently or wearing a mask all the time, doesn't really safeguard them because they just don't follow most of those things.
Yeah, interesting. It's difficult to put them wearing mask, preventing them from putting hand into the nose, mouth, and all these things. I totally agree with you on this question. So I would say like all these things are relevant if you say like when you are telling where to mask and all, because to prevent yourself from getting from the virus from the other people. So I would say that if it is very difficult for kids of less than 1 year, 2 year to make them wear mask and prevent them not touching their hand, mouth, it's really difficult. In front of 6-7 months, half of the time when it is awake, it will spend time on putting the hand into the mouth. So it's definitely practically not possible for us to prevent all these things. So I'd say like the adults and other people at home, especially someone who is going out, which we are not supposed to unless it is according to the strict guidelines that only if it is needed you are supposed to go out. So but people like us who goes out for work and all those things, to make sure you keep kids at home in your mind. So once you go back, make sure you take a clean shower, wash yourself, cover yourself, and don't give infection to the babies. So definitely these are little difficult tasks for babies to put them mask and all those things. But I would say like if they are at home, the chances of contracting infection from person who is going out is the only way they can get an infection, isn't it? So the person who is going out and coming back and not giving an infection to the baby, that's the way you can prevent it.
Many babies and children are supposed to have their routine vaccinations in this period, during the lockdown and probably immediately after. What should they be doing? Should we go ahead and give them those vaccinations or should we postpone it?
Okay, so it is interesting. See, we are trying to balance one side, the chances of coming out of the home, crowding, going to the things. At the same time, the immunizations, what we regularly give, what routine immunization we call, they are also aimed at preventing definitely a dreaded and dangerous diseases. Currently, even the WHO position paper says flu, measles, these are the infections which we miss, mass vaccination for say like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. There is always a threat of resurgence of these things. If you go by the statistics, measles is much more dangerous than the COVID. I'm just telling the way it impacts the kids, how many of them will require hospitalization, how many of them will go through a lot of things, and mortality and morbidity with the measles. So currently it is very clear all the routine vaccinations can be given, though every day there has been a little bit of, because every day we are learning this virus. So initially in the beginning we said like just postpone all the routine vaccines, we are not going to give for 2 weeks because we thought it might end in 2 weeks. So we never thought that lockdown 2, lockdown 3, lockdown things will go on. But yes, so initially we said we can safely postpone. There are certain things, something like typhoid, hepatitis A, all these viruses, all these vaccinations can safely postpone by a week or two if you are anticipating that in the next week you are going to get it, and things can be a little easier with the lockdown and all, you are going to get it, that's well and good. But in particular something like measles or flu and all these things, better to take on time. Most of the hospitals are giving the vaccinations, barring those who are dedicated to COVID. I would recommend you to take the vaccinations on time. So they are equally important. In fact, the diseases for which we vaccinate are equally or even more dangerous than the COVID itself.
In case we need to bring our children to the hospital for something, maybe for a consultation or for a vaccination, is there some extra precaution we can take for them?
Again, social distancing is very important. We are reducing the slots in our own hospital. So make sure you maintain the social distance, maintain the duration you spend with people at hospital or on the way, everywhere, right from leaving the home on the way to the hospital, in the hospital. Make sure you maintain the social distance strictly. At the same time, if you have any of the high risks, so like any one of you had, or someone who is suspected to have a COVID and you came in contact with them, or your child, now the travel history is irrelevant in last 2 weeks at least, but priorly, initially, all those things were the criteria for us to screen it. Make sure you don't hide the history. So it is not something to be hiding. So if you have someone who is contacted with the COVID, or you suspect that there is a risk for you would have exposed to the COVID, please reveal it to the healthcare professional. That's the only way we can treat your child better. We can limit the spread of the disease, and that's the only way to go forward. Unless you don't come up yourself, it is really difficult for us to anticipate that every child, unless it is because you might have read in the newspaper, by and large most of the cases are asymptomatic. That means they don't come with symptoms or a label telling that I am having COVID. So it's very important for us to predict. At the same time, on the patient side, it's very important for them to reveal the history. So always make sure you maintain the social distance, you place yourself, protect yourself. At the same time, you are not putting other people also at risk. So yes, these are the precautions you should practice.
Nowadays, our children are not getting much of playtime outside, no outdoor exercise, and no sunshine also. Is this going to affect them in a really bad way? Is there some way we can reduce the impact of this?
It's not just kids. In fact, everyone, all of us are all the time stuck to the screen nowadays, isn't it? So it's gonna take a toll on our both physical as well as psychological well-beingness. So if someone is not having you can say like a lack of food and all those things, but at least they are psychologically a lot of down. So many people are going into depression, so many frustrations and all those things, because we are not used to this kind of a lifestyle. Yes, it is going to have it. So it's always good to chat with your friends, not physically. So stay away. So have video calls, keep asking whereabouts of your friends, family, keep engaging your kids in storytelling, have something like indoor games like playing carom, chess, ludos, all those things. Make sure you maintain social distance, don't go out of home, and engage your kids in physical activity, not just sticking to the TV, because again in TV also you're done with all the series, online series, web series. Again, if you put any news channel, again it's only corona, so it's only going to take you more and more into depression. So yes, there is always a way. So like 20 years back we didn't have all these things, so still we used to have a nice family time. So it's time to get back to that. So have a good family time, play with your kids, at the same time try to help your subordinates, take care of other things, keep inquiring about other people. So keep making calls to your family, friends, all those things, but maintain the social distance. Yeah.
Given the current scenario, should we be giving some supplements to our children? Vitamins, vitamin D?
Yeah, exactly. So now the biggest problem with lockdown is we are not going out. So something that we are really lacking is vitamin D. As such, current guidelines, we are giving vitamin D to most of all the newborns, at least 6 months to 1 year. So probably it's a good idea to continue till we get back to our routine. We don't know whether it's going to take 1 week, 2 weeks, or even longer. So yes, I would recommend you to go ahead with the vitamin D supplementation after consulting your pediatrician. Something that will be really helpful for the current situation when we are completely indoor. Other supplements like vitamins and all, generally they are good for first 1.5 to 2 years, because that's when the child will be a picky eater. Unless we take a really good balanced food, we may not be maintaining their need of the vitamin D requirements. So it's always good to supplement those things, not keeping in mind the COVID. So as such, for the general health, it's important to have these things.
Now for the last question. Now that the lockdown is easing up and life is slowly getting back to some semblance of normalcy, we are all at a crossroads where we need to decide whether to let our house help, whether it is a maid or a nanny, who might be coming and going every day, should be let in. What is your take on it? Does this increase our risk? Should we be doing it? I know in some cases we just don't have an option. For example, for an essential worker who has to go to work, there has to be somebody to take care of their children. So I understand that risk. But other than that, people who don't necessarily fall in that category, what should we be doing?
So it is a little tricky now, as we see in the news and currently available things says, most of the cases are asymptomatic. So most of the times we might not be able to find out if who is suffering, who is not suffering. So asymptomatic cases, it might be me, it might be you, or anyone. So how safe it is to allow them in the house is again a big question. Because if they are in-house, that is a different issue. If they are going to multiple places and then coming to your home, And always there is a concern of whether they have an infection or anything. The same thing with when you send your kids to other daycare, the question is always how safe it is. So I would say, like, going by the current situation, at least till that things gets better, we get a much better idea about what exactly it is and all those things. So I would say, like, it is better to avoid crowded places, be it a daycare or all the things. Anyway, the schools reopening will also is going to take some time. So particularly about maids and all, unless it is in-house maid, it's always safe. But maids going to multiple places and coming to your place, it's difficult to say how safe it is at this point, because you cannot keep on checking your maids every day whether they have any symptoms or anything. Yeah, again, it has to be individualized.
Doctor, thank you so much for taking out so much of your precious time and explaining things so well and so nicely to all of us. You've been very, very graceful in helping us out in this fearsome time. Thank you so much for the time you've taken. And I would also like to thank you especially for the fact that you're out there every day fighting for us, fighting for our babies. I know it's not an easy task. While we are all sitting safe at our houses, and I'm asking you how to keep our children safe, I know you are not able to do that. I know you go home every day taking that risk with you for your family. So, thank you so much. We really appreciate the sacrifice you and your family are doing every single day for us. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions, please put them in the comment section and I will try my best to get them answered for you. For more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, do click on the like button. Stay safe.